are in the aftermath of yet another senseless act of violence.
Too many people have had this experience.
But we gotta do something.
It is time for all of us to do more.
Because this is our city.
We are one Commonwealth.
This is our home.
Louisville is a great city. Louisville is a peaceful city.
We're all suffering together.
Long after our words here today are forgotten, the memory of those who were lost will remain.
Tommy, Josh, Juliana, Jim, Deanna.
Why we can't find a solution to this cancer of mass shootings, which is eating away our children, adults, and seniors at a lightning speed.
And right now here on the WHS 11 team tonight, hello everyone and thank you for joining us. I'm Doug Proffitt. 2 days after the mass shooting that has devastated this community, as you heard right there, we came together with heart, healing, and song tonight. And right now on the night team, we are going to begin where tonight's vigil ended. Amazing Grace with Jason Claiborne.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me.
We will have much more of Amazing Grace throughout this newscast, and that's how we will end the night team tonight. But first, we are bringing you full coverage from today's events, the release of the 911 calls today, the mother of the shooter calling police to warn them about her son, and tonight's vigil, how police and the families of the victims in attendance were honored, not just at the Muhammad Ali Center, but in churches across Louisville for several hours tonight. Well, in the seats at tonight's vigil were friends and families all too familiar with this kind of tragedy. A sea of red shirts from Moms Demand Action, faith groups and advocates all taking the time to come together. WHS 11 team's Tom Lally made his way through the crowd with photojournalist Ian Hardwitt tonight, and they are live downtown. And Tom, as you saw, you were right there with the crowd. People were sitting and standing. You saw them up close, their faces and their reactions.
Yeah, Doug, it was heartbreaking for some who I already recognized having experienced this kind of violence in the past. But we've talked a lot since Monday about this week being a time of pause, a time to reflect and mourn before moving forward. And I want to highlight around 7 o'clock tonight what felt like a final period for that pause, when this bell behind me and bells all throughout the metro rang at the same time tonight. A moment of change resonates through the city we call home. From the man who walked alongside Martin Luther King Jr.
Love do the same thing light do the darkness. If we have love for one another and treat one another right, this would not have happened.
That light shined on Louisville Wednesday as our interconnected community gathered in grief at the Ali Center.
Because the shooting came to our town today, it came to a place where I've actually spent a lot of time on the steps right there watching my husband and my daughter run road races here.
People from here at home to as far as Chicago, writing prayer cards for the victims at Old National Bank.
You know, always remember Jesus Christ is here with you guys and loves you very much.
Laura Sharps, who just moved here 2 weeks ago, is now a part of this city, home to the world's greatest heroes and greatest tragedies.
I'm a new neighbor, and I feel hit in my soul gut.
In the crowd, a banner unfurled. 4 middle school girls from St. Francis pushing for peace to prevail.
I feel like we just need to educate people more on why these things happen and why we can and how we can prevent them.
And in this time of sorrow and heartache,
I've been pastoring now 63 years. Never seen it like this.
A renewed push for resilience and change echoes through the heart of Louisville. And if you are like so many others tonight, wondering how you can help the families that were impacted, the city has been saying the biggest thing is to donate blood. On our website, we have all the different locations you can go to do that. We also have GoFundMes and different ways that you can support these families. Live in Louisville, Tom Lally, the WHAS 11 night team, on your side.
Tom, thank you. And many people have been rising that challenge, donating blood. And one speaker had people rising to their feet today, his passionate words hitting the mark we all needed to hear. And what we learned about the mother of injured police officer Nicholas Wilt. WHS 11's Isaiah Kim Martinez and photojournalist Elijah McKenzie take us to the vigil.
Well, Mayor Craig Greenberg says there will be a time to talk about policy action, but tonight was about mourning. It was about well wishes for those still in the hospital and thanking the first responders who rushed in to help.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound.
We were not meant to go through tough times alone. And luckily, we don't have to.
If there was any question whether the Louisville community would show up in droves for each other at the Muhammad Ali Center, the answer was loud and clear.
I lost one of my best friends on Monday. But I've got 2 friends and more that survived because LMPD got there in about 3 minutes. I want to thank you all.
Governor Andy Beshear in tears. U of L Health's Dr. Mohammed Babar's message, the one moment that brought hundreds of attendees to their feet.
That it does not matter whether you are a Republican or a Democrat, whether you live in urban spaces or rural communities, whether you own a gun or not. Please do something, because we all just want this epidemic of death to end, which is wearing down our nation.
Congressman Morgan McGarvey told of going to the hospital and talking with the mother of Officer Nicholas Wilt, shot in the head, running toward the gunfire.
His mom had just seen the body camera footage, and she said, I was looking at his hands to see if he was scared. They never shook. And that's my child.
The night ushered in people from all walks of life. For the first time, people hearing the leader of Old National Bank, Jim Ryan.
Make no mistake, these were extraordinary people. They were loving, generous, and gifted.
Between the prayers,
Teach us to love one another, not just today, but every day.
And song.
Bright shining as the sun.
The call is to wrap your arms around the families grieving.
And please don't forget about them next week. Don't forget about them next month. And don't forget about them next year. They are going to need your support for the rest of their lives.
And don't forget about them in the long days to come. In Louisville, Isaiah Kim Martinez, WHAS 11 Night Team on your side.
As you heard earlier in our newscast at 7 o'clock tonight, churches across Louisville rang their bells in solidarity. 17 Louisville churches of all denominations also opening their doors until 8:30 tonight for special services. WHS 11 Night Team's Taylor Woods covered the prayers as people search for answers.
Prayer and singing inside the sanctuary of Highland Presbyterian Church.
This is where you come when you don't have all the answers.
A community relying on their faith and a safe space for serenity.
It's a place of peace. It's an unviolated space.
2 days have passed since the Old National Bank shooting, and Louisvillians are trying to pick up the broken pieces.
The world's hurting, and now Louisville's hurting that much more.
I think we're all looking for answers and comfort and peace.
Mourners had the chance to light candles as bells rang out at 7 to remember the lives lost. Mental health experts were also on hand, providing help to those who needed it.
I look at the people who are surviving, what is going to be the effects of that? Or what is going to be the effects of people just going into a bank,
Now the community is looking to recover and hoping for change.
There's no end in sight, and something has to change. Something has to change.
In Louisville, Taylor Woods, WHAS 11 Night Team on your side.
And tomorrow, the very first of the visitations will begin, followed by funerals. For senior bank Vice President Tommy Elliott, the visitation will be held at Pearson's Funeral Home on Breckenridge Lane from 2 to 7 p.m. tomorrow. His funeral will be held Friday at 3 p.m. at Broadway Baptist Church on Brownsboro Road. The burial will be private. The family has asked people to donate to the American Heart Association in Tommy Elliott's honor. New tonight, for the very first time, we are now hearing the frantic calls for help from Old National Bank and elsewhere. We do want to warn you that the content of these audio recordings is graphic in nature.
333 East Main Street. We have an active shooter. He's an employee of Old National Bank. Get here now.
And tonight you will hear the mother of shooter Connor Sturgeon calling 911 to tell police her son might be heading to the bank with a gun. By the time she called, the shooting had already begun. Calls about the shooting started coming from inside the bank building and from other areas as well. WHAS 11's Shay McAllister has the story of what those calls tell us tonight.
What's the address to Weston Point? Oh my God, there's an active shooter there. Oh my God.
The first call for help didn't come from Old National Bank in downtown Louisville. Instead, it was a board member on a Zoom meeting across town on Brownsboro Road. She was watching it all unfold right through her computer screen.
And how do you know you have an active shooter on the site?
I just watched it.
How'd you watch? You watched it on
meeting?
On a Teams meeting?
Yes, we were having a board meeting.
Video board meeting?
Yes.
The dispatcher tells her she is the first caller and asks her again, "What did you see?" Through tears, she describes the gunshots. She says she watched the shooter walk into the conference room and open fire.
I just saw it was a white man, dark hair.
Okay. What about clothing?
Khakis on. I think he had khakis on, maybe he had a rifle, gun.
And then another call into Metro Safe.
Operator Frost, where's your emergency?
This one from inside the bank.
I'm in the closet with one person. Yeah, I hear gunshots.
A brave caller talking in a hushed tone from inside a closet in the bank. She identifies the gunman as someone they recognize.
How do you know the person? He works with us.
More calls from inside the building, and then a dental office right across the street.
People have been shot.
And then, once police are already on the way, a shaky voice dials 911.
My son might be because he has a gun and he's heading toward the Old National at on Main Street here in Louisville.
Main Street, Old National?
Yes, and this is his mother. I'm so sorry. I'm getting details secondhand. I'm running to it now. Oh, my Lord.
Connor Sturgeon's mother was on the line.
We don't even own guns. I don't know where he would have gotten a gun.
Okay, so where did you get this information from? Who told you what's going on?
His roommate called me. His roommate's very concerned.
She says it was Connor's roommate that called her, worried. Then she starts packing up her things to head to the bank. The dispatcher tells her not to go. It's already an active scene.
Please, he's non-violent. He's never done anything. Please.
Okay, and you don't believe he owns guns?
I know he doesn't own any guns.
By that time, multiple people had been shot, some already dead. It was 9 minutes from the first 911 call to the all clear given at the scene. Shay McAllister, WHAS 11 News, on your side.
Picking up on that, Sturgeon's mother got into her car from her downtown home, which is not far to the bank, and was going to head to the bank, as Shay reported there, telling the dispatcher she was shaking. The dispatcher tells her it is dangerous at the bank and not to go. We have some good news to report tonight from U of L Hospital, by the way. Another patient was released today, leaving only 2 patients remaining. Officer Nicholas Wilt is one of them, still critical, while another patient is in fair condition. Dr. Jason Smith noted the good news today, but spoke again about how much a toll the losses are taking.
We focus on our failures, and it may or may not be a failure, but it feels like that when you lose someone. And from our standpoint, what we have to do is focus on the people we were able to save, and there were a lot of them.
Dr. Smith continued to push for change to curb gun violence. He told us he's received calls from EMS personnel from across the country who share his plea from yesterday, begging policymakers to act.